Have you ever felt like you're living by a set of rules you never actually agreed to? Well, today we're diving into The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. It's this incredibly powerful guide that's helped millions of people reclaim their personal freedom. So let's get into this toolkit for finding your own happiness. John Lennon really hit on a core Toltec idea right here. The idea that so much of our reality, our suffering, and our limits, they aren't even real. They're just part of a dream that we've been taught to believe is the absolute truth. So what exactly is this dream? Okay, so imagine this. Long before any of us showed up, this massive, collective dream was already running the show. Ruiz calls it the dream of the planet. It's basically the whole shebang, all of society's rules, beliefs, laws, and cultures all rolled into one. And the thing is, you don't choose it. You're just born right into the middle of it. So from the moment we're born, we go through this process that Ruiz calls domestication. I know it's a strong word, right? But it's how society teaches us to behave, using this constant system of reward and punishment. It's done by our parents, our schools, our religions, and usually with the best intentions. But it has this huge, lasting effect on who we think we are. So how does it work? It's actually pretty simple. First, our attention gets hooked. The grown-ups around us teach us the rules just by repeating them over and over. Then comes the training. When we follow the rules, we get a reward, a smile, some attention, a good boy or a good girl. And when we break the rules, we get punished. So pretty fast, we learn to fear the punishment. And boy, do we crave that reward. And here is the real kicker. This training gets so deep inside of us that after a while, we don't need our parents or our teachers to enforce the rules anymore. We start doing it to ourselves. We become our own domesticator, our own tamer, constantly judging every single thing we do. And this starts a brutal war inside our own minds. This internal war is run by what Ruiz calls our personal book of law. It's this rule book in our heads that, let's be honest, we never actually chose to write. And this book creates two main characters in our minds, the judge and the victim. The judge is an absolute tyrant. It uses that book of law to find us guilty for every little thing it thinks we did wrong. And whenever the judge slams down the gavel, the victim is right there to take the sentence. The victim is that part of us that whispers, "Poor me, I'm just not good enough," carrying all the shame and soaking up all the punishment. This constant battle between the judge and the victim creates this thick fog in our minds, what the Toltecs call the mitote. It's like this total mental chaos, 1,000 different voices all chattering away at once, arguing, judging, complaining. And in that fog, in that static, we can't see ourselves clearly. We can't find any peace. And this quote just nails it, doesn't it? Because we have such powerful memories, the judge and the victim make us relive and pay for every single mistake we've ever made, over and over and over. Think about it. We make a mistake, we judge ourselves, we find ourselves guilty, and then we punish ourselves. And then we remember it a week later and do the whole miserable thing all over again. This endless cycle of self-judgment creates what Ruiz calls a personal dream of hell. It's a state of constant suffering that's just fueled by fear. But here's the most important thing to remember. This is just a dream. And if it's a dream, that means we can wake up. There is a way out, a way to write a completely new story. And that is exactly where the four agreements come in. Now, these aren't just more rules. They are four simple but unbelievably profound commitments you can make with yourself. Each one is a tool, a powerful tool, designed to shatter those old fear-based agreements and help you take back the power to create a brand new dream.
Okay, the first agreement is the most important one of all. Be impeccable with your word. Why is it so important? Because your word is the power you have to create. It's the tool you use to build your entire life. It's literally pure magic.
So let's look at that word, impeccable. What does it actually mean? Well, it comes from the Latin for without sin, but Ruiz has a different take on sin. It's not about being bad. A sin is anything you do that goes against yourself. So to be impeccable with your word means you stop using your words to judge yourself, to blame yourself, or to reject yourself. You can think of your word like a sword with two edges. You can use it for white magic, to create truth and love, or you can use it for black magic, to spread what Ruiz calls emotional poison. And the absolute worst form of this black magic? Gossip. He says it's like a computer virus for the human mind that just infects everyone it touches. All right, the second agreement flows right from the first one. Don't take anything personally. This one is like your personal shield against the emotional poison of other people. See, when you take things personally, you're making this huge assumption that everything is about you. But the truth is, what other people say and do, it's a projection of their own dream, their own reality. It has absolutely nothing to do with you. And once you really get that, once it sinks in, you become immune to their opinions and their poison. The third agreement gets to the root of so much unnecessary drama and fighting. Don't make assumptions. Now, the big problem with making assumptions is that we believe they're true. We just invent a whole story in our heads, then we take it personally, and then we react to something that was never even real to begin with. And a solution? It's so beautifully simple. Instead of assuming, have the courage to ask questions. Instead of creating some fantasy in your head about what someone else is thinking, find your voice and ask for what you really want. Clear communication just melts away that mental fog, that mitote, and saves you from so much pointless suffering. So now we have these three really powerful agreements, but, just knowing them isn't quite enough. How do we actually turn them into habits? Well, that brings us to the fourth and final agreement, which is all about putting everything into action. And it is, always do your best. This is the agreement that makes the other three actually stick. Now, it is so important to understand that your best is not some fixed standard of perfection. It changes all the time. Your best when you're healthy and full of energy is going to be way different from your best when you're tired or sick, and that's okay. This whole agreement is about finding that perfect sweet spot, that balance. If you do too little, you just open the door for regret and for that inner judge to beat you up. But if you try to do more than your best, you just burn yourself out and deplete all your energy. But when you simply do your best, whatever that looks like in the moment, you're just acting for the joy of it. And the judge, it has no ammunition to use against you. There's nothing to regret. So, what happens when you actually start to live by these four agreements? It's a total transformation. That internal war just stops. All that emotional poison gets cleared out of your mind. And you finally reclaim your personal power. And this, right here, is the ultimate reward. You stop living in that dream of hell, the one filled with fear and suffering, and you start creating your own personal dream of heaven, a new reality that's filled with joy and love and total freedom. In the end, your life is your art. It's the manifestation of your dream. And by adopting these agreements, you're taking the paintbrush back from your inner judge and victim. So the only question left is, what new masterpiece are you going to create?